So Kelsey, I understand you've worked as a biofeedback practitioner in clinics and hospitals around Colorado in close contact with MDs. We all know MDs aren't always receptive to everything, at least in the alternative field. So to start with, maybe you could explain for our audience what is biofeedback and just a little bit about how consciousness plays a role in your work with pain patients.
I would love to answer that question for you. I don't usually get to answer it from this perspective because I am very much in the medical mainstream. So I usually only address pain from the physical level. So I'm very happy to be talking about consciousness and pain tonight. So let me start by saying when we raise our consciousness, our brain waves begin to change. So if we're thinking in an active thinking state or problem solving, we have a very fast brain wave cycle. It's called beta. And then when we start to relax a little bit, we start to go into what we call alpha. And then when we relax even more, we start to go into theta. And theta is where I believe real healing can take place. This is a deep state of meditation where the person is conscious and awake, but not asleep. When we slow down even more, we move into delta, which is sleep. So when we raise our consciousness, it's not just our brain waves that are affected, but also physiologically, our autonomic nervous system is affected. And the autonomic nervous system is the part that is automatic or involuntary. So for example, your heartbeat. You don't think about your heart in order for it to beat. But if you had a fast heartbeat or an irregular heartbeat, we could teach you how to control that, or blood pressure, or many other things that are not usually consciously controlled. And we do this by hooking instruments up and getting feedback on a computer screen. So we get biological feedback, or biofeedback for short, and then I would teach you how to control that. So when we're looking at the autonomic nervous system, in a nutshell, it's split into two parts. The sympathetic nervous system, which is the stress part of the nervous system, or the fight or flight response. I'm sure you've heard of that. And a lot of changes happen in the body when you go into the stress response. For example, there's often tension in the shoulders and neck when somebody is in the stress response. And that's because every animal, including human animals, has an unconscious instinct to protect the throat. Right. So even if it's a psychological stressor, which most of our stressors are today, we hold it in our neck and shoulders a lot.
That explains why I have to get massage in that area so often.
You and everyone else. Exactly. Another thing that happens sometimes is people's hands and feet get cold because they're constricting their arteries. And in the fight or flight response, we want the arteries to constrict because if you were to get attacked or cut, you would bleed less. But this creates problems like migraine headaches and high blood pressure. So we want to teach people to shift into the parasympathetic nervous system or normal tension. So this is the shift we need to have happen, and it's very effective in teaching people how to control their pain. I had one young man in my practice here in Boulder who had chemicals splashed in his eyes, and he suffered horribly from burning eye pain and headaches. And at the beginning of every session, I have people rank their pain on a scale of 1 to 10. He would always rank it at a 9 or 10, very extreme pain for his headaches and for his burning eye pain. And then we would re-rank at the end of the session. And at the end of the session, he would always be 0. And he then learned how to take control of his pain. And so part of it was that he made the shift in the nervous system, but I believe that part of it is also that he shifted his brain waves into theta, so he was able to be aware of the pain without being so much in it.
Right. That's great.